Good afternoon and welcome to our weekly women's volleyball press conference. We'll start the press conference with an opening statement from head coach Tyler Hildebrand, then we'll open it up to questions from the media.
Thanks, Lindy. We started conference 1-1. We knew Cal Poly and Santa Barbara were going to be tough teams. We had great turnouts, 1,500 around 1,500 in each match, which was great. And so we really want to thank our fans. It was a great battle against Cal Poly. They played really well, and we were able to show a lot of resiliency in the fifth and come back and win. And we showed resiliency a couple times against Santa Barbara, and we just didn't quite play well enough for 1 or 2 points in set 1 and 1 or 2 points in set 3 to win. Really happy for Matt and Santa Barbara. They've had a really nice start to their season. They're 12-2, and he's doing a good job as a young head coach. He inherited a team that he'd already coached for a long time, and they got most of their girls back. So, but I texted him after the match, said great job, and it's nice to get to see some of our coaches. I mean, Caroline and Matt are great, and we have a really cool coaches group in the Big West that I think we all respect each other. So it was cool to get rolling. And again, we're really grateful for our fans for coming out and showing support. Our attendance is good this year, and we hope it keeps going. And now we have a tough test this week. San Diego's playing good. I believe it was a reverse sweep by Cal Poly. Taryn, you were on that, I think, at our press conference, right? And so. We were. We've watched a little bit of them, and San Diego's good, and obviously it's always great to play in the big rivalry match against Hawaii, and obviously Hawaii returns everyone. They're going to be really tough, and that's what we've been used to for the last 6 weeks. So we're excited to play both these teams this week and try to play our game and see what happens.
Coach, weeks 1 through 5, you've basically been tested throughout most of your matches. What can you say that you've taken away from those matches going into this big week against UC San Diego and Hawaii?
Well, tactically, we know that one of the strengths of our team is we can do a lot of things. We're not just we set one person or we got to block balls or, we got to do all of it. We got to make good touches blocking. We got to dig. We got to be good in transition. Our offense has to be rolling a little bit, which we have so many sets that we're hitting between 350 and 400, but we got to be able to do that throughout we got to keep doing it. We're not going to hit that every set, but we got to be able to, our drop needs to be 220 or something instead of down in the, near 0 or 050. And that's not our passer's fault, a setter's fault, hitter's fault. It's just, there's a lot of things that we need to do well to win points. So we've learned that. So we think it's a good thing. But so against this weekend when we were not playing well, it was when, this thing happened on this play, this thing happened on that play, this thing happened on that play. So there's a lot of positive in that, and that we can work on things. And when we get it, we keep getting a little bit better at this, a little bit better at that, depending on what side of the ball it is, or little things. High IQ things. So we've learned that's the team that we are, that we're really good and we're tough to beat when we put it all together. And when not, we got to find ways to not let our level drop too far.
Just some really exciting rallies, especially in the UC Santa Barbara match this past weekend, and those rallies always kind of incite sometimes a standing ovation from the crowd, whoever wins or loses a rally. What have you seen from your team to be able to not just sustain those long rallies, but win them?
Well, maybe it's a little bit of what the other thing that Taryn was going to say, I forgot something there, was that because we've had big crowds, I think we're going to have good crowds this week, but we know Hawaii's crowd's going to be really big. And so we've already played in front of that like 4 times. Or it'll be our 4th time. We had Texas, UCLA, at Nebraska, and then Hawaii. Those will be the big crowds, and hopefully we get a great crowd against UCSD. Winning long rallies is kind of goes along with what I'm saying. Like we do a lot of little things where maybe the rallies end earlier in other matches or other teams because they don't do a lot of little things or a cover play and we have longer rallies because, our team isn't, the makeup of our team isn't set a big high ball and go tee off and blast it, off hands into the stands. That's not where we're strong. We're strong in other ways with speed and creativity and talent. And so, but that can create more rallies because it's not quite as terminal, and we're okay with that. So we try to learn to love those rallies, and we try to say this is our advantage. The longer the rally goes, the more advantage to us because we play longer rallies, I think, than a lot of teams because of our defense and how we run our offense.
What can you say about your team serving through the first two matches in Big West Conference play, and how can it get better and tougher against UC San Diego and Hawaii?
Well, as I said before, we were a below-average serving team last year, and I think we're a really, really good serving team now. Most of our wins, whether in sets and I guess matches, I would say the primary factor was our serving. We have, I don't know what the numbers are, Lindy could pull them up, but we got to be at well over double the amount of aces that we've had and well under half of the amount of errors at this point in the season from last year. This weekend, we significantly outserved our opponents, so we outserved and passed our opponents at a way if you didn't know what teams played and you just gave a stat sheet to UNLV's coach or any other volleyball coach in the country, and you just put the serving and passing numbers, they would have assumed we won 3-0, 3-0. Because we served, last night, 2 nights ago, we passed a 2.97, which is the highest we've passed since I got here, and Santa Barbara passed a 2.3. Usually it's hard to lose sets when that happens, so we lost in other areas, and we're working on that. But serving against Cal Poly, we were at 15% errors, which was the highest errors. Still not super high. Really good serving teams are typically around 10%. And some teams are lower at like 6-7%, but they serve lollipops, But when a team, Cal Poly's passed a 2-1 against us, which is really low. So if you're at 15% error and they pass 2-1, that's pretty good. You're okay with that. So proud of our serving. Happy that we have gotten a lot better in that area, and it's a strength of our team. And the one time that we weren't really putting a lot of pressure on serve and passes against Nebraska because they're such a great passing team, it was hard to get them out of the system. And the last 2 sets against New Mexico. Outside of that, teams have been off the net all year against us.
Going off of that and kind of honing it in on one player, Natalie Glenns, it's hard to not miss her serve in terms of if you're watching. Maybe it is hard to miss it because it goes so fast. How much has she been working on that? We've talked about her kills and her blocks, but the serve has also been really changing the game for you guys. Yeah,
that's a good point, Matt. Natalie's remembering how good she was. She, you go through. She didn't have great. She wasn't playing her best at her last school, and maybe lost a little confidence from when she was younger, and now she's remembering. She's remembering how good she is, and she's played 5 good matches in a row. A couple people said like, "Oh, Natalie had an off night on Saturday." I was like, "Dude, she hit 240. She had 2 aces and 2 airs serving. She had another good night. It's just because of her level." So that's what we wanted. We want people thinking when our hitters are doing that they're having an off night. So, because Natalie did not have an off night. She had another good night on Saturday night. She's remembering, and I think one of the areas where it's showing is not just her offense and blocking, like you said, but her serving. So this weekend she was, I think, 4 aces and 4 airs, or maybe 4 aces and 5 airs. But for a jump server, that's pretty elite. And it's been a long process with her jump serve, but she's been working a lot on how to control that. But I think the main upswing in the last 5 matches when she started to gain her confidence attacking and just overall playing, the biggest area she's gotten better in her serve is just overall confidence of being able to be who she is. Because I watched her when I recruited her in Nebraska, and she's really a special player, and she's remembering.
We also got to see Abby Carrick pretty much return to the starting lineup. What can you say about Abby and how she's been consistent from when it comes to swinging the ball and whatnot?
Abby's been good all year. There's another level that she has, and she's working hard. She's a great learner, and she puts everything that she's trying to work on into place every week, and really proud of her for that. And yeah, she's played a lot for us this year, and pretty much, she even played on the right for us for a little bit against UCLA. She's pretty much been a staple for us out there, and proud of her. And she's got another level. She's going to go to another level at some point in this conference, and then I think she's going to go to another level later in the season. She's probably got 2 more levels in there, and that's what we believe. And she's really close to going to that next level.
You've had some pretty, I guess you could say, important crowds, not just big crowds, but important crowds over the last few matches with faculty and staff and former players, this 72, 73 teams. How important has that been for your team to show up and show out for those crowds?
It's important that we represent our university. It's important that we represent our student body. It's important we represent our faculty. It's important we represent our administration. That's by doing the right things on and off the court as people, as student athletes, but also by doing the right things on the court as athletes. A lot of people put in a lot of work, including you guys here, waiting for me because I was late, to try to support our program. And so it's important that we honor that by giving our best shot out there. And I think we've done that so far. And the fans, obviously, who I talk about mostly, but there's a lot of people involved. So to get the faculty, to get our alumni, who I talk about a lot as well, fired up. I get a lot of texts from our alumni congratulating us on how we're doing. They're excited. I know our record right now isn't whatever, 10-2 or whatever, but people know that we're playing a tough schedule. So, and then getting the faculty and the 72-73 team there it's just our way of showing that we appreciate what everybody does to allow us to go out and do what we do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.